Number 9, maybe a disappointment here for the rankings in Washington, given that they were in the NFC Championship game last year. 9 games last year they won by single digits. Won that Tampa game in the playoffs by just 3 points. I loved what Jaden Daniels did.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah, please.
I don't think that's a good stat.
Why not?
That they won a lot of games by single digits?
You don't like that stat?
No, I think it's a good stat, but I feel like that's, we did like a coin flip. I just don't like that many close victories. And obviously the Hail Mary can go the other way.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why. I think
go
they could
the other way.
Oh, I think they could go further back though.
Okay, well, so to me, this is the type of team where they actually might be a better team with a worse record. And
that's smart.
Like they won
Like Brock Purdy.
They won 12 games.
Quarterback.
They add Laramie Tunsil's a great addition.
Yes.
Deebo Samuel, if he's healthy, is a great addition.
Better team, worse
for number
record,
2. But I think better team, worse record, worse postseason, but just like still clearly building in the right direction.
Yeah, I told you guys before when I did this whole clip that I really wanted to cut this and talk about it specifically. That the Commanders should drop back further. That's what Wilds is saying. I mean, okay. I get that they had a lot of close games. And here's the problem, though. It gives the impression that a lot of those close games were kind of like you were pretty fortunate, like the Chicago Bears, which undeniably there was a bit of luck involved, right? But at the same time, when you look at how the Commanders executed their wins and the level of play that Jaden Daniels brought to the field, there was nothing fluky about it. They were given opportunities where it was like, this is a close game, go out and win it. And they did. And they did. The other teams left the door open, and the Commanders literally bulldozed the door right off the hinges. I don't think that should now be used against them. It's one thing if a lot of these games were close because it was like, the Commanders, they just weren't that good, or this, like you're watching these games unfold. Jaden Daniels is throwing a bunch of interceptions. He fumbled the ball on his own 10-yard line, right? Like, then I would be a little bit more open to that. As well as, like I said, when I did the whole clip, where I was just like, if this team was an established team with an established coaching staff where they've been together for 2-3 years or so, 4 years, and Jaden Daniels has been in the NFL for years, and they had the season that they had, and they didn't make like any like prominent changes. It was it's a lot of continuity kind of all over the place. Then I would say, okay, yeah, they were pretty fortunate to be in that situation. You're not really expecting growth from your quarterback at that point, or your coaching staff to get to know each other more and have more cohesion, both offensively and defensively. But like, that's obviously not the case. That's not the situation here. And people like to point to when this kind of happened with the Minnesota Vikings, when they had the 1 year where they won. I don't remember anymore exactly what it was, but they were like leading the NFL with like the most like 1-score wins, and it was like, that's not going to happen again. The following year, you're going to fall off. But then Kirk Cousins got injured, and you don't really know how that could have unfolded. But the reality is that Jaden Daniels will be better as a quarterback. Now, to be fair, it's not like Jaden Daniels was a limiting factor in this offense. So it's like, you can't say, well, Jaden Daniels will be better, and so they won't be in those 1-score position in situations anymore. And it's like, that wasn't necessarily why they were in there in the first place. But I still do think Jaden Daniels' development and growth still now puts you in a better position to not be in those 1-score games. But of course, his greatness still puts you in a position to win those games at a higher rate than an average quarterback. I mean, that's just a fact. So I trust Jaden Daniels' ability to more reliably win 1-score games than I do maybe Kirk Cousins in 22 or 23 or whatever. So like, we just can't copy and paste sometimes like certain trends. We can do it when we are saying, like, well, what did Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes do over the years? What did Josh Allen do? What did Lamar? Like, when we got to put it into, like, specific context surrounding other great quarterbacks. You're not going to compare Tom Brady's one score wins and compare it to Gardner Minshew. So that's it's like, again, you got to be kind of specific with the conversation that you're having. Not to mention, and this was really like my bigger point, the defense should be significantly better. The defense should be better. And I just think, again, just having Dan Quinn, just having a second year with this team, getting his legs under him of being like, all right, I got to establish myself as a head coach. I got a rookie quarterback. I got a new coaching staff that I have to delegate. It's like you're figuring out a lot of stuff. It's a new city, new franchise. He's been a head coach before for sure, but still he hadn't been for 3 years. He had just only had to focus on defensive coordinating. Like, it's just a different process. It really is. And so even he has to kind of get resettled, reintegrated. And so I think even he individually will be a better defensive coach in year 2, not to mention now just having continuity with players themselves, plus new additions. This defense should be better. And so it's just like, people see this and say, well, they won 9 one-score games, or, whatever the number was. And it's like, the chances of them doing that again is not likely. And I think that is technically fair. It is for you to win that many one-score games, no matter how great of a quarterback you are. But why people's mind go that way rather than saying, well, I don't think they will be in that type of position where they are constantly in these one-score games. Or at the very least, when they're in these one-score games, they're more in the driver's seat. Like, it's a one-score game, but they have the ball and they're winning. And so now they just need to convert a third down or something, and there you go, ice the game out. Or you're on defense now, it's a one-score game, and the ball's on the 20, on the other team's like own 20, and it's like, all right, let's just we got to make things uncomfortable for them. There's 45 seconds left to go, and it's like, things get weird. Like, those are the type of situations more. So I don't know. I that they can go further back just because they won a lot of one-score games, like, I don't know. Doesn't really make sense to me, honestly. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders and the concerns about their one-score games and where they are according to right now? They're behind the 49ers. They're behind the Bengals. They're behind the Rams. I mean, there's this idea that the Rams actually played the Eagles the best. And I think it was just because of the snow more than anything. And if you were to say you have to play another team, if the Eagles had to face another team again, who would you want it to be? What would be the hardest matchup? The only reason why you would really have issues with the Rams is because you would be concerned about Sean McVay. And I think Sean McVay is a brilliant coach, and brilliant coaches will always make me be like, all right, I don't know what you got in store. But if I was really being honest just about the team itself and the versatility of Jaden Daniels and whatnot, I know that score broke open, and the Philadelphia Eagles were obviously the better team, clearly more deserving to win it all. They won the Super Bowl. Commanders fans can't deny that. You could say, oh, but the turnovers. It's like the Eagles forced those turnovers. They deserved those turnovers. It wasn't just kind of fluky type stuff. It was high level defense by them, and that's all well and good. But it doesn't mean you're going to reliably, even with high level defense, consistently force those turnovers. The Eagles were able to do it in every single playoff game, and it was quite remarkable. But just like you're not going to bank on you being able to win one-score games every single season and every single week, you're not going to bank on your defense to be able to force 3+ turnovers either. So that defense, or excuse me, that offense, especially against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Jaden Daniels was definitely made uncomfortable at times, and the Eagles did a great job, and Fangio did a great job. But at the same time, it still felt to me like the Rams were able to take advantage of the weather, the fact that the defense had to give an extra step. They pointed it out as clear as day on the broadcast that players like Darius Slay and CJ Gardner-Johnson they gave so much extra space because the offense in a snowstorm like that, especially the pass catchers, they have such an advantage because the defense is reacting. They're reacting to the offense, and so they're more likely to slip. They're more like, so they got to give a little bit of extra space. The offense knows where they're going. They know what route they're running. They know when they need to kind of slow down and cut. It's just different. You're going to be a little bit more sure-footed in that regard. And so that was it. That just act like that's not going to help an offense that is primarily passing. Like, of course it does. Tom Brady used to talk about that he loved slippery games because it was so much easier for him to dice up defenses. And so, I really do believe in a normal conditioned game, the Eagles win that game a lot more convincingly. And so I'm just not going to be so quick just to say that the Rams are better than the Commanders because they added Devontae. Okay, well, the Commanders added Debo. There we go. We both got two older, past their prime weapons. All right. Your quarterback's getting older by the second, which again, to emphasize, I believe in him. But this quarterback is he's still got room to grow. He's still got magic to unleash on this league. But the advantage is definitely with the Rams with Sean McVay in terms of coaching. That can't be denied. And that's okay. But I just want to be confident enough to put a team like the Rams 2 spots ahead of a team like the Commanders, or believe that the Commanders will take a step back, but the Rams take a step forward. That's unclear to me why that is. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders taking a step back, having the concerns about their one-score games? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.